Hey there people, it's your favorite WeedleTwin New Year. Happy New Year everybody. I know I'm a couple of days late, but I'm hoping everyone's having a lovely 2021 thus far. Today we're utilizing a shark-based team. We're using Pokemon like Garchomp and Sharpedo, and there's a very good reason for that because this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you're in college or using a public Wi-Fi connection, your security could be at risk because hackers love public Wi-Fi as they can easily connect to you and steal your personal information. That's why you should encrypt your connection with the VPN like Surfshark. But let's face it, we're all at home right now and mostly on private Wi-Fi, but Surfshark still has much more to offer beyond security. My favorite use of Surfshark is the ability to circumvent region locks. I've kind of been on a Netflix binge lately and sort of ran out of things to watch, but thanks to Surfshark VPN, I was able to connect to a server in Japan within seconds through Surfshark's very easy to use interface, and finally got to watch series unavailable in my region, like Demon Slayer. VPNs are very useful to have in general, and if you're interested in trying out a VPN, Surfshark has a very special deal going on. If you use the link in the description and my special code WEEDLE, you'll get 83% off your subscription plus 3 extra months for free. Thank you Surfshark for this amazing deal and sponsorship opportunity, and let's get back to the video. So in honor of our sponsor for today's video, our Garchomp and Sharpedo are packing the move Surf. So we're using a Surfshark theme team. I know that's pretty corny. Y'all are probably like, really, Weedle? Did you really do that?
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check.
I felt like it would be funny because we have like some Pokemon that could benefit from Surf, like Weakness Policy Gigalith and like Storm Drain Credilli, so I felt like it'd be a fun idea. So as you can see, my first opponent today has a very colorful team. Look at that color scheme, it's very pretty. But they also have some pretty scary threats on there, like Togekiss is a pretty underrated threat, Dracovish and Rillaboom and Heatran kind of threaten my team a decent amount, so a very scary team for us to deal with, and we're gonna hop right into this battle. And my opponent's trainer card is pretty interesting. They have like the caution, do not pass tape, which is pretty funny. So my opponent's going to be leading off with the Togekiss and the Alolan Ninetales, which was not what I was expecting them to lead off with. I lead off with my Klefki and my Garchomp, so I'm thinking my Klefki's in a very good spot right now. Both Togekiss and Alolan Ninetales can't really pressure the Klefki because Togekiss usually carries like support with Follow Me and stuff, but I don't want to be taking a Blizzard with my Garchomp, and I also want to prevent Aurora Veil from being set up from the Ninetales, so I'm going to bring in my Gigalith here, which will set up the Sand and prevent Aurora Veil from going up, which is nice for me because that's what most Ninetales go for turn 1. But here my opponent actually Dynamaxes the Togekiss, which was not what I was expecting at all. Dynamax Togekiss is a very scary threat. I know it's not used much nowadays, but it's still very threatening because it can like crit like 50% of the time with broken max moves, and my opponent here fails the Aurora Veil, so we got the play right with my Gigalith. But here my opponent goes for a Max Flare into my Klefki, which is going to obliterate my poor Klefki. I really thought they would go for a Max Fairy move or Max Airstream into Garchomp, and instead they focused down Klefki, which is very sad because I really wanted to use this Klefki, but unfortunately Klefki just gets annihilated by Max Flare. And I'm just going to be forced to bring out my Garchomp because this Togekiss offensively is actually very scary. So here I D-max my Gigalith in response to the Togekiss, and we're going to dodge a Blizzard here thanks to my Bright Powder on my Garchomp and just, you know, Blizzard not being perfectly accurate without Hail. Here we're going to Surf, inactivate our Weakness Policy. So now our Gigalith at +2 attack, and Togekiss is going to go for the Max Airstream right into my Garchomp and just annihilate me. So down goes my Garchomp. Unfortunately, this Togekiss is doing a lot of work. My opponent is probably Crit Kiss here because we saw the crit with the Max Airstream, and Crit Kiss is very threatening still. I still think it's not the best offensive threat, but it's still very underrated because no one's really preparing for Togekiss anymore. But you know, it's still a potent threat. Just because it's not at the top doesn't mean it's not good. But here Max Rockfall is going to annihilate Togekiss, thankfully, because of the +2 attack boost from the Weakness Policy. So if Surfshark Garchomp did kind of come in clutch this game, as corny as this team is, Surfshark did kind of come in clutch, I won't lie. So we're going to knock out the Togekiss with the Max Rockfall, and that's very good because now we still have Dynamax Gigalith at near full HP. Here we're going to bring out our Credilli right here as my opponent's going to reveal the Dracovish. So I'm like, great, this means Dracovish can't even Vicious Rend me. And here Blizzard is going to miss Credilli, but we would have eaten that pretty nicely because of the Sand boosting our special defense. And here my opponent's going to try to go for Vicious Rend, but they have never seen a Credilli before. They're like, what's a Credilli supposed to do? And then we just Storm Drain away the Vicious Rend, so my opponent must have not known better. I don't know, but here we're going to go for the Meteor Beam with our Credilli. So Credilli is actually going to do some work right here because we just got +1 special attack from Storm Drain, and here we're going to get another special attack boost from the Meteor Beam. And this is like my first time like actually using Power Herb Meteor Beam in game. Like we did use the copycat Power Herb Meteor Beam with Jinx in the last video, but here we're gonna go for the Meteor Beam into the Alolan Ninetales, knock it out in one hit, and Dracovish can't touch Credilli or the Gigalith right now, and Max Rockfall at +2 attacks also just going to annihilate it because Gigalith is very, very strong. It's actually a very underrated threat, in my opinion, in the current metagame because it kind of like stomps on Cherrim very hard. Here my opponent is going to bring out the Heatran as their last Pokemon, I do believe, and they're going to go for Flash Cannon, which actually does a decent amount. I'm thinking it might be Choice Specs Heatran. I'm not too sure because it did do a lot. But here, Credilli is going to be able to go for the Earth Power and knock out Heatran. So to be honest, Credilli was low-key the MVP of this game because Credilli prevented Gigalith from getting knocked out from Fish's Run. So props to Credilli for the first battle. I know it didn't Dynamax, but it's still the MVP. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the first battle, and let's go on to the next one. My second opponent today actually has a Cherrim team, so that's very cool to see, even though they also have Landorus and like Cinderace, but that's fine. It's all made up for because they're using Cherrim, so we're just going to get right into this battle. This battle is super good, by the way. And as you can see, my opponent's trainer card is very basic, and they haven't even changed their outfit, and they have no stars, so that tells me most likely that they're smurfing on like an alternate card or a new account. So they're smurfing with their Cherrim team, which means they're probably not that bad at the game. So that actually dictates one of the plays I make in this battle. But we'll get there when we get there. So here my opponent's going to lead off with the Torkoal and the Cinderace to set up the Sun, so D-Max Cinderace can destroy me. So my opponent's going to switch out of the Torkoal and bring out the Cherrim, the former idol. So in comes the Cherrim, and they're going to transform into their beautiful flower gift form. I love that Cherrim form. And here, my opponent's going to Dynamax the Cinderace, and it's actually regular Cinderace as opposed to G-Max Cinderace, which is very smart because it allows them to maintain weather control. And here, I Dynamax my Credilli in response because I figured he was Dynamaxing Cinderace. And here, they're going to go for the Max Knuckle. I was expecting a Max Airstream, but they go for the Max Knuckle right into my Credilli, and we're actually very physically defensive. However, the Flower Gift makes that Max Knuckle do a bajillion damage, which is very bad for us. So that's definitely going to be 2 KO'd by a Max Airstream. Here I'm going to go for the Surf with my Garchomp to give my Credilli the strong drain ability, of course. And we're going to hit the Cinderace and the Cherrim with Surf. Do so little damage because of the Flower Gift and the Sun. And we even got a crit on the Cherrim, which is pretty funny. And here I go for the Max Rockfall into Cinderace, expecting them to go for the Max Fire move or the Max Airstream. But instead, they go for Max Knuckle, making a very good play and avoiding all the damage from Max Rockfall, especially with the Flower Gift active from Cherrim. So here my opponent's going to transform out of the Flower Gift because we set up the Sand with the Rockfall. And now I'm thinking that my opponent's going to go for Max Airstream here, and I figured they would predict me to go for Max Guard with my Credilli because they're smurfing. And they actually do. They go for Airstream into the Garchomp, which will one-shot me after the +1 attack. Even without Flower Gift, Cinderace is just fair and balanced. D-Max Cinderace is just one of the best Max Pokemon in the game because it gets stabbed on every single move. So down goes my Garchomp, and here Cinderace is going to take some Life Orb damage. My opponent's going to go for the Sunny Day here with the Cherrim to maintain weather control, which is a very good play on their part. So now Cinderace has more special defense, which will allow it to live this Max move. And that's pretty bad for me because Credilli is just not going to be able to do much here, except I read my opponent to go for the Airstream, and I go for the Rockfall at +1 special attack into Cinderace because I knew they're going to go for Airstream, right? I figure they would predict the Max Grass move or Max Ground move, and they actually go for Airstream. It works out, and we're going to knock out the Cinderace because if you think about it, they were a fighting type when I went for Rockfall. So they thought, there's no way I'd Rockfall into Cinderace again. But I'm crazy, and we're able to knock out Cinderace because of a beautiful play like that. So down goes the Cinderace. Our Credilli is still active in the Dynamax. And here my opponent's going to bring out their Torkoal to maintain the weather control. And I'm going to bring out my Sharpedo, my other Surfshark, because, you know, it is a Surfshark theme team after all. I got to bring my Surfsharks anytime I can. So I'm going to bring in Sharpedo here. And the Cherrim is going to transform back thanks to the Flower Gift, so it was just transforming over and over. And here I'm actually going to switch out my Sharpedo and bring out the Gigalith just to maintain the weather control, because even though we took out the Dynamax, I'm still a little bit threatened because Cherrim with the Sun up, you never know. You never know. So I'm just keeping my weather control, and Cherrim's going to transform again. It's transforming so much. I love Cherrim. And they actually try to go for Solar Blade, which is a very good play that I switched into my Gigalith, because here, he's either going to proc my weakness policy, or he's just going to do like 0 damage. So we're going to go for the Max Quake into the Torkoal, and I really thought that would have one-shot it, but unfortunately Torkoal eats it up because he's very defensive. That was kind of a choke on my part, but you know what, it's fine, it's not too big of a deal. And here he's going to eat his Pinch Berry, so he's a very bulky Torkoal considering he lived a +1 Rockfall from my Credilli, or not Rockfall, sorry, Max Quake, which isn't stab, but still, it's +1 special attack, and max moves are balanced. But apparently his Torkoal's bulky AF, so he lives. And now he's going to be able to yawn my Gigalith, so I'm pretty much forced to switch out of here because I want to maintain weather control. So I'm going to switch out on my Gigalith and bring out my Sharpedo. Even if it dies to a Solar Blade, it's not too big of a deal. And my opponent is going to switch out of their Torkoal, and they're going to bring out their last, which is the Landorus Thick. So in comes Landorus Thick, and I don't know what set he is, because Landorus T can run 40 different sets. He can run like Scarf, Rock Slide, he can run Assault Vest with the Flower Gift, he can run Choice Band, he can run like SD, like he can run a lot of stuff. So here Solar Blade's going to hit into my Credilli as we're barely able to live, and here I actually click Meteor Beam as opposed to going for Recover. I really thought that Meteor Beam was better, but Recovery, there was obviously the better play because I would have been able to keep my Credilli very healthy versus this Landorus T, and then I could have like Giga Drained into the Landorus T at like +1 special attack and done some decent damage, but I just wanted to get rid of this Cherrim because the Flower Gift is starting to give me anxiety. So down goes the Cherrim. I'm sorry, Cherrim, I had to focus you down because Cherrim was truly the big threat on my opponent's team. And here my opponent's going to bring out the Torkoal again to get the weather control, so now my Sharpedo is going to be doing 0 damage with the Surf right here, which is fine because I just go for the Protect because I don't want to be taking an Earthquake. I want to scout this Landorus T set, so I go for Protect just on the off chance he is Scarf. I was going to go for a Surf, but I wasn't sure, or I was actually thinking of going for Destiny Bond because I thought he'd go for Earthquake, but I wasn't sure if he was Scarf Lando T or not, so I had to make sure my Sharpedo outsped him because Scarf Lando T is kind of common, and that's the thing with Landorus T is they can run so many sets, and they all put on different pressure. So like Sword Stance Lando T can just sweep you big time with like Dynamax, but Scarf Lando T can clean up very easily and like flinch you down with Rock Slide. So it seems to lock himself into Earthquake here. So I'm thinking, okay, if he is Scarf Lando T, I can go for the move with Sharpedo and knock it out because I outspeed it. And I can just protect Gigalith from the Earthquake here. So I just decided to go for the Protect with Gigalith, just on the off chance, you know, it lives the attack. And here I actually revealed that I'm Destiny Bond on the Sharpedo, so I'm hoping that my opponent goes for the Earthquake right here, knocks out Sharpedo, and then Gigalith can just win the game. But here my opponent's going to go for Rock Slide because he isn't Choice, and he actually, unfortunately, doesn't want to hit his Torkoal, so he's going to be able to go for Rock Slide into my Sharpedo, as Sharpedo actually tanks it okay. And now they're going to go for the Yawn into my Sharpedo, and I'm like, oh, I kind of choked there, didn't I? I should have just clicked Surf because I would have done some good damage to both of them. But you know what? I misplayed. It's not a big deal though because here I should be able to live a Earthquake with Gigalith, but my opponent goes for Protect with Lando T. I did not expect Protect on Lando T. I really thought they would be Assault Vest after revealing they weren't Scarf, but instead they're actually like Protect 3 attack or something. I don't know, so they're actually going to be able to guard themselves from my Gigalith, and Rock Slide's going to knock them out. But it's still not too big of a deal because even though Sharpedo is fast asleep, my Gigalith is Weakness Policy. And Weakness Policy Gigalith at +2 attack with single target Rock Slide should be able to knock out Landorus T here. So even though we're kind of cutting it close after playing really well, we are choking a bit, but it's not too big of a deal because even though Sharpedo is going to get knocked out here by the Earthquake, you already know we're going to activate our Weakness Policy with the Gigalith. So I'm going to get our Weakness Policy, and we actually take the Earthquake reasonably well. And unfortunately, Sharpedo had to take one for the team, which is fine because we can go for the Rock Slide into Landorus.
Miss.
Just kidding, Landorus is skinny because it dodges the Rock Slide and then knocks me out with an Earthquake. So Landorus T once again crushed my meme team's dreams, but I don't know what, I deserve to lose this game. I went against the sponsor by not clicking Surf. If I just clicked Surf instead of Destiny Bond on that turn where Landorus T clicked Rock Slide, I would have won the game. I just wanted to showcase Destiny Bond Sharpedo. I really did. I choked that game. I held that out. I was more mad at myself for misplaying than I was at the Rock Slide missing, to be honest with you. But I don't know what, this game is still very close and down to the wire. And my opponent used Cherrim, so I felt like I had to showcase this battle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this close battle against this Cherrim user, and let's move on to the next battle. My next opponent today, Yuma, has a very interesting team. They're packing double electric types with Landorus T, and then they also have like Talonflame with Tailwind support, and then they have like a little Ninetales with Veil support. So I'm not too sure what their lead plan is for this battle, and they have 777 as their trainer card number. I have 666, so we have the matching triple number duel. I don't even know what I'm saying. So they're going to lead off with Landorus T and the Talonflame, as I'm going to be leading off with my Garchomp and my Gigalith, because I figured that it was a pretty safe lead if they lead off with the low Ninetales. I can get rid of the Hail, so I can stop the Veil, and then I can just set up the Sand for my Garchomp to dodge some attacks, and give my Gigalith the special defense boost, and I can give the weakness policy. But they leave Landorus T, which is pretty bad because they cut my attack. But this is fine because I assume Landorus T is just going to go for the Earthquake as Talonflame goes for Talon, but instead he Dynamaxes, so I protect my Gigalith here as my opponent goes for the Talon with the Talonflame. So my opponent's going to get some speed control here, and my opponent is going to go for the Max Quake right here, and they're actually going to target into my Gigalith, which is going to do a bunch of damage even through the Protect because, Landorus T is fair and balanced, Dynamax is fair and balanced, so put them together, and Landorus Thick is a very balanced Pokemon. But here, at the very least, we're going to activate our weakness policy. So now Gigalith is at least a little threatening right now, and I'm able to, at the very least, go for the Breaking Swipe to reduce the Landorus T's attack, but we're still not in a good position because Max Quake will still knock out Gigalith. Even if I Dynamax, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die, so I'm not in the best position right here, but I'm still going to Dynamax my Gigalith anyways because I'm like, maybe I can live a Max Quake, but instead, I go for the Max Guard. I go for Double Protect. I manifested a Double Protect because Gigalith was mad after getting hacked by Landorus T in the last game that he was like, well, I don't know what, we're going to get this Double Protect, so the Garchomp will be able to go for the Breaking Swipe into the Landorus T to further reduce the attack, so now Gigalith will be able to live a Max Quake, and I'll be able to knock out the Landorus. So I'm in a pretty good position right now. My opponent's going to go for the Brave Bird into the Garchomp because they're mad, I guess, at the Garchomp. And Garchomp takes it very well because of the -1 attack from the Breaking Swipe. And my opponent's going to go for the Max Quake, but instead of targeting Gigalith, they target into Garchomp because they're mad at the Garchomp. They're like, this Garchomp is pissing me off. So they're going to try and knock out Garchomp, but Garchomp is able to live thanks to those Breaking Swipe attack drops and my somewhat bulky build on my Garchomp. And here we're going to go for the Rock Slide and knock out the Talonflame. So down goes Talonflame. And I'm thinking at that range of health, a +1 attack, Max Rockfall will knock out the Landorus T. Hopefully, if not, we're still not in the best position. So we're going to go for the Rockfall. And we're able to get our revenge on Landorus Thick. So down goes the Landorus Thick. Thank God we got our run back versus this Pokemon because Landorus T pisses me off sometimes. But my opponent's going to bring out the Rillaboom here, and they're going to bring out the Alecki. They bring out Alecki. So I'm thinking that if they would hammer into my, Gigalith, I'm dead for sure, but I should be able to live a Grassy Glide, potentially. And if they knock out Gigalith, I do have, Cordelia in the back, so I'll be fine. But they actually go for Glide, target into my Sand Veil Bright Powder Garchomp, and then we live the Electro Ball from the Alecki. So my opponent underestimated Gigalith. I don't know why they didn't just double target into the Gigalith. I understand they want to get rid of the Garchomp so Specs Alecki can kind of go in, but unfortunately they missed the Grassy Glide because of my Sandville Bright Powder combination. I was going to give my Garchomp an Assault Vest, but I decided to be a degenerate and run Sandville Bright Powder, and it actually came clutch as we dodge the Grassy Glide, get some revenge hacks after, missing Rock Slide the last game, but it's not too big of a deal. I'm over it. But here, our Dynamax is going to run out with our Gigalith, and then my opponent's like, yeah, I'm gone. They have Sandville Garchomp. I'm done. So they're going to forfeit. We're able to defeat our opponent, and we got the run back versus Landorus T, which is the important part. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle, and let's move on to the last battle of this video. My final opponent today has a Sunny Day based Trick Room team. As you can see, he has Venu Colt, they have Dusclops, Glass Druyer, Stakataka, then they have Regieleki, which is pretty good on these sort of teams because they can set up dual screens and stuff. And we're going to get into the final game because, guys, I saved the best for last. This battle right here is absolutely hilarious. I promise. So my opponent's trainer card looks like the I Guess You Are a Little PogChamp meme. Or at least that's what I think. Maybe they're referencing something else. I don't know. But my opponent's going to lead off with Stakataka and Dusclops. I decide to lead off with my Klefki and my Sharpedo. And right here, my opponent's going to give you guys a slight spoiler. He's going to frisk and see I'm Absorb Bulb. So if you guys don't know what's coming, we're going to Dynamax our Klefki, the best Fairy Steel type offensively. Screw Magearna, screw Mega Mawile, screw Zacian. We have offensive Klefki. My opponent's so afraid of offensive Klefki, they're going to protect because they're like, oh, Klefki's going to destroy me. And we're going to go for Surf with our Sharpedo. Thankfully, they actually did protect, as you'll see why in just a moment, because we're going to Surf into our Klefki, and we're going to activate our Absorb Bolt. Not a weakness policy, except, guys, I'm going to blow your mind because we're going to go for the Steel Spike into Stakataka. He's going to protect because, you know, he's so afraid. We're going to get some defense boost, but here's the important part. We're going to Magician and steal away his weakness policy, which is amazing because he goes for a Trick Room right here with Dustclap. So now he can't go for the Bulldoze play and give himself the weakness policy, because otherwise he'll give me the weakness policy. So I'm like, okay, we shut down his Trick Room very hard, except my opponent Dynamaxes Stakataka, and then he bulldozes anyway. Bruh. So he must have not seen Magician go off or something. I don't know why they went for this play, but regardless, my opponent is going to activate our weakness policy. So now our Klefki is at +3 special attack. Such a godly, scary, threatening Klefki right here, right now. And my opponent's going to go for a Rock Fault into Sharpedo because they're underestimating the Klefki. They think Klefki is just a meme. They think I'm memeing right now, but I'm playing super serious right now. And he's going to knock out my Sharpedo, which is fine because now my Klefki can go for a, he's going to get a base boost, of course, going to get that with Stakataka, but we're going to go for a max Steel Spike into the Stakataka, and we're going to do very little damage because Klefki hits like a wet noodle, but it's fine because we get a defense boost, and now we're like super bulky and stuff, and Stakataka is only a +1 attack, so it shouldn't be doing too much damage to us. But now we're going to bring Garchomp right here, and now I'm going to max guard because I'm thinking that my opponent's pissed at this Klefki. He's going to hard target it, and I got the right assumption there because he goes for the Nightshade and the Steel Spike into the Klefki slot because he was done with that Klefki, but instead, I protect myself. I go for the Earthquake with my Garchomp, and we're going to be able to knock out the Stakataka and do some good chip to the Dustclap. So thankfully, Klefki is just protected. We gotta protect Klefki at all costs because Klefki is the MVP of this battle. Stealing away the weakness policy with Magician just for the opponent to proc it with Bulldoze. What a good way to start off the new year. What a good way to start off the new year. I don't even care if I lose this battle because that play was just amazing. So here, our Dynamax is gonna wear off with Klefki, but it's fine because Klefki, you know, if it had Dynamax, it would just be too much for my opponent. So we got to give the opponent a chance. My opponent's going to go for Pain Split into my Garchomp, surprisingly, as opposed to Nightshade into my Klefki. And they're going to go for Icicle Crash as well into my Garchomp. So again, my opponent is underestimating the Klefki. They're like, oh, Dynamax is over. I could just ignore the Klefki. But no, because I am going to give the opponent a Chilling Neigh, a Horse-based boost, but we're going to go for the Dazzling Gleam right here. +3 special attack Dazzling Gleam does some pretty good chip, and we're going to Magician away Dustclap's Eviolite. So now Dustclaps isn't that bulky anymore. It's actually a balanced Pokemon because now it doesn't have like base 200 defense and special defense. Now it can actually be chipped down, which is great. So now I'm going to bring Gigalith. And I'm like, I was debating if I should protect or attack. I decided to protect myself here because I'm thinking just from how my opponent's playing that he probably has Torkoal in the back because he's just not afraid of Klefki at all. I don't know what it is. He's just not afraid of it. And I actually get the read correct. He targets into my Gigalith with the Glastrier, and Dazzling Gleam's able to knock out the Dustclaps because of the fact we took away his Eviolite. So Klefki is putting in so much work right now, and the Trick Room is going to wear off. So now we actually outspeed both Torkoal and Glastrier with Klefki, and he does have Torkoal in the back. So I'm glad I made the assumption of protecting my Gigalith because if I didn't protect Gigalith, then Torkoal would have been able to win endgame. But because of the fact we saved our Gigalith, we're going to go for Dazzling Gleam into Glastrier, knock it out, and then Torkoal is going to get knocked out by a Rock Slide. And we're able to defeat our opponent because of offensive Klefki. Gigalith actually like hard countered my opponent's team, but instead we one-upped him with the Klefki, and Gigalith was just there to clean up because, I don't know, Klefki stole the show. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle because we got to utilize Magician Klefki. I don't even know why I'm so hyped about that because it really isn't that impressive, but I just thought Magician offensive Klefki as opposed to like support dual screens was just iconic. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Surfshark video. I understand that the whole premise of this team was corny and it really wasn't that complex of a strategy, but I still figured it'd be fun to do, and I think we got some good battles out of it. So if you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more of this VGC narrated Wi-Fi content, be sure to leave a like on the video. It shows you do enjoy this content. I want to see me continue to upload this VGC content because I know not everybody enjoys my Wi-Fi content. So if you want to prove me wrong, be sure to leave a like, as it really helps me. And be sure to comment on the question of the day, which is going to be, what is your New Year's resolution going into 2021? Let me know in the comments down below if you have any personal goals you want to meet by the end of 2021 or anything along those lines. Now, I understand this is more of a personal question because my questions of the days My question of the days are more so like, what's your favorite Pokemon type? Or what's your favorite Pokemon region? But this is more of a personal, like real talk moment because I wanted to discuss really quickly like what my goals are for 2021 and just in general. My main goal for 2021 is to improve my mental health, and I just really want to get a better grasp of it, especially after 2020. I caught COVID back in November. 2020 was just a bad year for everybody, but I really feel like new year, new me, but like unironically, because after 2020, after surviving 2020, after getting over Miss Rona, though I'm not fully over Miss Rona, my lungs are kind of killing me after narrating for like 30 minutes straight, but that's besides the point. I really feel like I have the power to actually get a better grasp of my mental health, and that's just very important because that's like the first step. And my other smaller goals are to be more active on YouTube, live stream more. I understand I have not been providing you much content. I'm not too enthusiastic about Sword and Shield, most of you guys noted that, but that still doesn't really excuse the fact that my uploads have been pretty inconsistent. Some of you guys are like, Weedle, it's fine, quality over quantity, but when the quantity is like 12 Sword and Shield battle videos and like over a year's time span...
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
That's just not... I'm not satisfied with those results, and I really want to be more active on YouTube. I really want to take YouTube more seriously, and that's one of my other main goals going into 2021. One of my other main goals is to be more active and more interactive with my community. So I do have a Discord server. If you guys do have Discord and want a place to hang out, talk to me, talk to other users, talk about Pokemon, all that fun stuff, I'll leave a link to my Discord server in the description down below. Feel free to join that if that does interest you. And I also have a Twitter. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, as I'm much more active on Twitter than I am on YouTube, and you can like privately message me on there and stuff, so feel free to follow me on Twitter if you want. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the video, and thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout the years. Whether you subscribed to me 3 years ago, 3 days ago, I love you all very, very much. Thank you guys so much for watching.